Every once in a blue moon, when the wind blows just right, car manufacturers decide to make absolutely redonkulous cars. But they only make one of them. I'm talking about one-offs. Today we're going to take a look at some of the most insane one-off cars that unfortunately never made it into production, but do actually exist and drive. Strap on your Crocs and let your dog out to pee. This is D-List. Big thanks to Dr. Squatch for sponsoring this episode.
Good one, friend. Your skin is your largest organ, so why are so many of you still using that chemical goo that you discovered in grade school?
Well, I don't smell.
You may not smell yet. That's just a cover-up of the soap you're using, and it's not keeping your skin as healthy as it could and should be. Before Dr. Squatch, I was using some big box, chemical-filled soap that I thought smelled good, but I probably smelled like this.
Oh, gross.
So treat yourself to the lathery goodness of Dr. Squatch soap. I mean, after all, I want to smell like a crisp IPA or goat's milk from the deep sea. Take it from me, a real man. I grew all this corn. So boys, ascend to real manliness. Eat your vegetables, take care of yourself, and be proud of your smell. Your skin will thank you later.
Head over to drsquatch.com and use code DONUT to get 20% off site-wide on purchases $20 or more, and click the link below to check out Dr. Squatch's best-selling bundles.
You are mythical.
V12 GTI.
Let me ask you a question, okay? You can answer me down there. How many liters of Diet Fresca do you think you can drink before going into a coma? I'm asking for a friend. 2 liters? 3 liters? Well, what if I told you there's a 6-liter, 12-cylinder engine made by Volkswagen, and some crazy son of a goof decided to put it back in the back of a Golf? I want to meet the guys. The GTI W12-650 has a 6-liter twin-turbo W12 engine from a Bentley Continental GT, and the gearbox from a Phaeton stuffed in the back of a tiny Mark V Golf body. And as the name implies, it is capable of making an insane 650 horsepower, which can propel this little baby up to 202 miles per. This is a small hatchback that can go 200 miles per hour. But unfortunately for us dubbers, Papa Dub only made one of these. They did it in just 8 weeks leading up to the Wörthersee Treffen Festival in 2007. I just want to take a moment to give a big shout out to Bridget, one of our editors, and her husband Dan. They were supposed to go to Wörthersee this year for their honeymoon, but the world had other plans and it was canceled. They're both very cool, and they have a bunch of really cool V-dubs. But none of them are as cool as this one, though. I mean, the looks alone makes me want to put this higher on the list, but if I tried, Max would freaking sue me. You edit the show, Max. You can put it in whatever order you want. I don't even say the numbers. Joe does. Please, stop suing me.
Shit, sport truck.
Speaking of Max, he made me put this next car on the list, even though it's not technically a one-off, but actually a very popular car down under in Australia, my favorite country/island continent. At the 2008 New York Auto Show, actor 50 Curtis Jackson unveiled the Pontiac G8 ST, or sport truck. But don't be fooled. The Pontiac G8 shared its platform with the Holden Commodore, which means that this is basically just a Holden Ute with a facelift. So it's not really that insane. It's just a Holden Ute for America. What is insane is that they didn't sell it to us. With no weight on the butt and 361 horsepower, this thing was a burnout machine. And the fact that actor/rapper Curtis 50 Cent, star of Power on the Stars Network, was there to debut the car in 2008 was pretty cool. But even if Pontiac never made this for America, you can actually get your own G8 converted to Ute spec by this company in Colorado who imports chopped up Holden pieces and grafts the body panels onto your Pontiac like Ed Gein. Neat. Do you think that 50 Cent uses anti-theft devices on his cars? Do you think he uses the club?
McLaren F1 powered wagon.
I don't think that we've made an episode of this show that did not include a 5 Series wagon. Coincidentally, my editor/director Max drives a 5 Series BMW wagon. It's almost as if Max is using his internet power to drive the value of his car up. But it's in this list, so I gotta talk about it. The BMW E34 M5 wagon has got to be one of the sickest cars of the last 30 years. The iconic S38 inline 6 made around 335 horsepower. But it wasn't enough for the engineers over at BMW. BMW had recently been contracted to make some naturally aspirated 12-cylinder engines for McLaren. After they engineered and built a few prototypes, they needed to test the new engines in something. So they did the logical thing and dropped the engine that was about to power the fastest car in the world into a dad wagon. Strap in, mein Kinder! It is time to go to the school bus! German people don't all talk like that. The V12 M5 wagon is one of BMW's best kept secrets, and they've never actually let the public lay their sweaty little eyes on it. But I would imagine that driving an early 90s M5 that has more power than a present gen M5 competition would be A, very fun, and 2, very scary.
Elephant supercharger.
It's no secret that Dodge loves making loud, powerful behemoths with cool-ass names. They got the Demon. They got the Hellcat. They got the Stratus. So it wasn't that surprising when Mopar came out with a 1,000 horsepower Hemi V8 crate engine with the sickest name ever. The Elephant! Boom! Boom! It's an elephant from hell. Any other company, and it would be like, what are you doing? Dodge, for some reason, they can pull it off. The engine is a full 7 liters of Diet Fresca. But if that's not enough Diet Fresca for you, you got a massive 3-liter twin screw blower strapped on top of the Elephant. This is the Arby's meat mountain of engines. Now, don't get me wrong, it's delicious. But it's literally a crime against nature. Just like the meat mountain needs a vessel, i.e. the bun, Dodge needed a vessel for this 4-digit horsepower heart. For the 2018 SEMA convention, Dodge dropped this big old boy in a 1968 Charger body and called it the Supercharger. It coincided with the 50th anniversary of the Charger, and the name of the engine itself was a tribute to the iconic Mopar engine. Dodge modernized the classic Charger and made it look absolutely. I saw it in person at SEMA. Wide body fenders, that wide mama hood scoop, the grille that extends in front of the headlights. Are you freaking kicking me, guys? Let us know in the comments if you want to see Nolan swap a Elephant into his 1952 Imperial. I would not suggest it. It's got some weird brakes.
Shelby Lone Star Cobra.
Just like Dodge, Carroll Shelby is a true American icon. I put my gum in just for this one, for Carroll Shelby. Like Matt Damon, that was his character for Carroll Shelby. Oh yeah, Carroll Shelby chews gum. Like Dodge, Carroll Shelby is a true American icon. You probably know him from his chili kit, but one thing you might not know is that he also used to make cars. Shelby and Fjord had just debuted the 427 Cobra in 1965, and good old Shelbs was working on the follow-up, called the Cobra 3, when Hank the Deuce pulled the plug on development. But the car was pretty much done already, so Shelby basically stole the prototype and drove it back to Shelby American and renamed it after his home state of Texas, the Lone Star. Sometimes I feel like a Lone Star, isolated in my house. The Lone Star drew inspiration from European race cars at the time and would have looked insane cruising down American boulevards. I mean, it looks like a Le Mans prototype. The Ford 289 V8 that's in the Lone Star made 320 horsepower. It was mated to a 5-speed ZF gearbox. That sounds really fun, even though I will never be able to afford it or even fit in it if it made it into production. The car sat in storage for 50 years until all the heat was off, and was restored in time to debut at a Florida car show in 2018. And if you think about it, Carroll Shelby was the human equivalent to an insane one-off. Rest in peace, King.
V8 Cygnet.
Now for a car that's insane for a completely different reason. Some of you probably drive a Toyota IQ, and I respect that. But what if you could buy the same car for twice the price? Well, that's what happened when Aston Martin rebadged the IQ as the Cygnet back in 2011. Just like the imperialists that they are, they took a foreign car, planted a Union Jack on it, and said,
This is ours now for the queen in the kingdom.
and you might be saying, James, you already talked about this car. Well, I know, but I didn't talk about this one-off version. Aston Martin did something incredibly cool with one of them. They dropped a big old V8 from the Vantage in it. Not only that, they also gave the V8 Cygnet comically wide fenders and converted it from front-wheel drive to rear-wheel drive. The so-called Super Cygnet, I still don't know how to say that word, makes 430 Windsor Greys. Those are the horses that the royal family owns. It's stupid, but I like stupid. That's kind of my thing.
The Corvette Rondine.
I love when people name cars after people, like the Bo James truck or the Gentleman Jim. Corvette Rondine Coupe is named after a woman named Rondine, which I'm assuming is the female version of Randy. And let me tell you, this car is randy as hell. I'm talking Austin Powers, horny baby. Austin Powers was a movie that came out when I was a kid, before most of you were born. And when I was in grade school, all you had to do to be funny was just say lines from it. And then everyone would be like, oh, that's a funny kid. But I'm over here in the back of the class giving them original gold material. They still think that guy's funny because he's a Mikey Moley, baby. I'm not bitter. Rondine answers the question. What would happen if Pininfarina, the guys who designed most Ferraris, designed a Corvette? Because that's what happened. Pininfarina literally designed this Corvette. Chevy commissioned the iconic Italian design house to produce this concept car for the 1963 Paris Auto Show. It boasts a 327 small block V8 making 360 horse per. The power, she is a nice, yes. But the look at the face. She's absolutely a star. From the angry front valance to the fastback, Pininfarina captured the essence of the Corvette while lending their own European twist to it. Now, the only Rondine ever made sold at Barrett-Jackson auction in 2008, but can still be seen roaming the American Southwest, collecting Social Security checks and eating at Cracker Barrel.
Fiat Panda monster truck.
On one hand, people hate monsters. Okay? They're literally hunted by dudes with torches and pitchforks. Okay? On the other hand, people love pandas, and it's literally illegal to hunt them. Unless you're the owner of Jimmy John's, then you can hunt whatever you want, and people still buy your friggin' subs. Or that dentist who killed Cecil the Lion. You think we forgot? Rest in peace, King. So what happens when you mix a panda and a monster? You get the Fiat Panda monster truck, of course. Sunday. Fiat Panda has been a little off-road legend in Europe for decades, but Fiat wanted to do something special for the third gen refresh back in 2011. They took a Panda 4x4, put it on a Jeep CJ floor panel, and threw some big old thick boy tires on it. How big, you say? 59 inches tall and almost 20 inches wide. The Panda itself is only 62 inches high, so the tires on the Fiat Panda monster truck make up almost half of the vehicle's height. In case you were wondering, a fully grown giant Panda is only 3 feet tall. But don't get all excited and go checking Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or carsbymax.com for a Fiat Panda monster truck, because it was only meant for an ad campaign by Fiat to showcase the Panda's 4x4 off-road prowess. And it worked! I want a freaking Panda now. Both the car and the animal. But like not Tiger King style. Like I would take really good care of my Panda. I would grow him bamboo and try and find him a girlfriend.
Mazda Furai.
Before Rob Daum's 4-rotor RX-7, before Rob Daum's 3-rotor RX-7, there was the Mazda Furai concept. Now this really is the one that got away. This 3-rotor Renesas-powered Mazda concept not only looks futuristic AF. Almost 13 years after it debuted, it also has some of the most insane specs of any driving concept car ever made. The 3-rotor motorboater made about 450 horsepower, but what's truly the most insane thing about this car, it weighs less than 1,500 pounds. To put that into perspective, that is 900 pounds less than a Miata with almost 3 times the amount of power. It was lighter than a 2016 spec F1 car. That's certified cuckoo bananas. Are you even kidding me? I don't even know if I can do this video anymore. I'm going so crazy. This is like a car that Mr. Beast made. It was designed using Mazda's Nagari design language, which is Japanese for flow. And the name Furai itself translates to the sound of the wind. And that's apparent in its futuristic aerodynamic shape. It even had little brake lights that had its name on it in kanji. That's sick. I want brake lights to say my name on it. However, the dream of the Furai was over before it began. When my uncles at Top Gear were testing it, the rotary engine caught fire and the entire car was burnt down to Barney rubble.
Mustang Shorty.
Now, it's no secret that when I was in high school, I rapped under the name Mustang Shorty. So it was quite the surprise when I learned that Ford Motor Company had stolen and used my rap name, Mustang Shorty, for one of their prototypes years before I was even born. The nerve! Mustang Shorty was a prototype of the Mustang that Ford was toying with a full 2 years before the production Mustang debuted. I mean, look at this thing. It's freaking sick. It had a wheelbase a full 16 inches shorter than a production Mustang and a 302 V8. This is like an American 240Z with a 5-liter V8 in it. People went absolutely bonkers for it when Ford debuted it at the US Grand Prix in 1962. And despite a bunch of expressions of interest and people clamoring to put their orders in, Ford never put it through to production. But who knows? If it was made, maybe it would have had some sort of butterfly effect and Ashton Kutcher would have never been born and we would have never gotten punked and Zach Braff would have never beaten up that child. That's a real thing. I'd love it if you would hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you want to learn more about that insane W12 engine, check out this episode of Bumper to Bumper. That's it. I'm going to bed. It's my dog's birthday. Max, don't sue me, please.